Hello, welcome to this lesson on LeanFT. In this lesson, you will be learning about description programming in LeanFT, how to create application models, and how to use regular expressions in description programming as well as application models. So let us start with the description programming and how to use it to identify the objects and perform the operations on the objects. So in the LeanFT, everything is about objects. So if you want to automate, say, Notepad or say any application, all you have to do is you have to find the type of the object, and then you have to also find the properties and their values of this particular object so that you can identify the object. So how do you find the properties and properties and values of this object, or the name of the class of this particular object, is by using the object identification center. So you can go here and click on this object identification center, which will open that object identification center, which can be used to spy on this particular object, that is Notepad. So object identification center is open, and I'm gonna spy on this one. So as soon as you spy on this object, details of this object appear on this particular object identification center, and at the top you will notice that the class of this particular object is window, and it's a standard window, and here are the properties and values. So you can use those properties and values to identify the object. Now you don't need to code the manually. You can get the automatic code generation for this object by just clicking on this generate code to clipboard button. So code is copied to the clipboard, and you can just paste it over here. So as you can see, this particular window is identified using this particular code, and you can use that one in your test to identify this Notepad. So we have used here around 4 properties to identify this Notepad window, but you don't need to use all of these properties. Sometimes even one property will be enough to identify this object. So the syntax of this method is like, you have to first start with the desktop, because there is no parent for this particular Notepad window. So desktop is the parent in that scenarios. So for any standalone Windows application, you have to use desktop, and then you have to use .describe method. After that, first argument this method is the class name of that particular object. So right now we know that it is window, so we have taken window.class, and then since we have taken window, you have to use this new window description. If you had taken button, you would have given here a new button description, and so on. Then we have used builder method, and after that we have used the properties and their values. It is as simple as that. So properties and values, so here is the properties and their values. So we have used those things over here, and then finally we have used .build method to build the particular object. So that is how you can use the description programming in LeanFT to identify the objects. Now you can also, here we have given the pure string in the value of this particular property, but instead of this pure string, you can also give the regular expression as well. So over here, this is the example where I have used the regular expression in the inner text property. Instead of giving the pure value, string value, I have given the regular expression value using this new regexp property, and here I have given the regular expression to identify the particular object. So that is how you can use the description programming. All you have to do is give the class name depending upon whatever class of the object is, and then description of that object, then followed by the properties and their values. So that is how you identify the objects using description programming. Now another way to identify the objects is using the application models. And to create the application models, what you have to do is right click on the package and then create new LeanFT application model item. Just click on that, and then you have to give the name of the file, application model, say XYZ, and then one TSRX file is created similar to this one. So I have already created one TSRX file like this one, and this TSRX file is nothing but a application model. So it looks like this one. I'm gonna close other files over here. So this is the simple application model item that I have already created, and there are 2 objects. I can delete the objects like this one, and to add new objects I have to click on this button, or you can also add the objects manually by clicking on this particular button plus. So here you can give the object name, and then you can also add this description for these objects. Here you can give the technology of the object, then type of the object, all these things you can do. And you can also add the new object using the object identification center as well. So let me close this one first of all. So over here, let's say you want to add this object in this application model, then what you can do is you can spy on this object, and then this object description will appear over here, and then you have to click on this particular button. It will add this object to the application model. You cannot add another test object file. The new test object pane is open. Okay, so already I have got the new test object pane open over here. So let me close that first of all, like that, and then now I can add the new object by clicking on this button. So the object, this notepad object, is now added over here. So if you come here, you can see that this particular object is here, and on the right hand side you will see these properties and their values that are being used. Here you can click on this use to see only the properties that have been used to identify the object, and if you want to view all the properties of this object, you can click on all button. And another interesting thing is that you can also specify the regular expressions in the values. So just click on star and then specify regular expression over here. So that's how you can use the create the application models, add the objects inside the application models. Okay, now application model is ready or created. Now how to use this application model in your tests? For that you have to create a new test. Before that, let me explain you that when you create this TSRX file or the application model file, another file is created under this app models, and over here another file with the same name is created, but it's a class file, appmodel.java, and you don't need to actually edit or do anything with that file. All you have to do is you have to instantiate that file, and then you can use the objects inside that particular model using the syntax that I'm gonna explain you now. So let me open this particular file now, app model test. So here there is a app model test Java file that I have created over here, and what I have done is I have instantiated this particular app model. So this is actually the class file. So this app model is actually nothing but the file that was created along with the app model.tsrx file, and this app model test is the file that we have created. This is actually a test class which uses this app model, instantiates this object of this class, and then to get the like object stored in this particular model, you can use this dot syntax, and then after that it will automatically show you the objects stored in that particular app model. So we have used this particular syntax and then set the value inside that particular application model. So for browsers automation, you have to pass this particular browser. First of all, you have to create the browser instance, and then you have to use this particular pass the browser to the app model. But if you want to automate the simple notepad, you don't need to do anything, like you don't need to pass any object to this app model. All you have to do is just instantiate that particular model and then use the objects inside that particular model. So that is how you can use the application models in LeanIFT. So in this lesson we have learned how to use the description programming to identify the objects, then how to use the create the application models, add or remove the objects inside the application models, and also we have seen how to use the regular expressions in description programming as well as application models. Thanks for watching this lecture.